And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Yeah, it's about time. The Weighing In podcast is live once again. My man has been sitting there just
yes, that's right, man. That's what I like to say, man. I like to say this. Hey, come at me, bro. I wrestled in high school. Yeah. Woo. What you know about that? Yeah. Hey, man, I heard there's some tubby dudes out there right now talking shit on the YouTube saying, hey, if so-and-so beats so-and-so, I'll pay you this much money. What a bunch of trolls. Bunch of tubbies. Bro, these little leprechauns are out there, fake, like weird hair and just pale skin. It's like a little redheaded, I would say ninja, but he's definitely a ginger, but he's got no skills, so you can't say ninja. I always say redheaded. What's a redheaded ninja? A ginger. A ginger. Anyways. Oh man, hey, we are live, guys, and hey, I want you guys all to know this episode is brought to you by BetUSA. We've had some great results as of lately from BetUS. Crushed it last weekend, man. Had some good stuff. I got to be honest, John. There's been a lot of talk about what's going on with Poatan and Khalil Rountree in terms of the results of that fight. I thought that fight way exceeded my expectations, John. I've got to be honest, man. It really saved that card.
I agree with you as far as, anytime that the main event is a good fight, it really doesn't matter because why are you tuning in? You're tuning in for that fight. And when it's a good fight, it makes you feel good about, I paid money. Good. I got what I wanted. I got a good fight. I actually thought it was going to be a good fight. I thought, you never know. It's impossible. But I thought Khalil matched up as good as anyone with his stand-up. And, let's be honest. Poatan isn't going to be taking people down. That's not what he does. He's going to stand up and fight. We know that Khalil's going to stand up and fight. So why is that not a good matchup? Everyone in the 205 division, no matter who they are, they're going to be a little bit undersized compared to Poatan for the most part. Mm-hmm. Khalil he's muscular, but he's looking up at him and you're going, God damn, that's a big frame son of a bitch. How did he get to 185? But I thought it was a fantastic fight. I thought it was a beautiful performance by Khalil. I thought he won the first two rounds. No matter what people want to say, he did knock him down. It wasn't a great knockdown. It was an odd off-balance thing, but he knocked him down. And you look and you go, what more do you want from someone? Yeah, he kind of ran out of gas with some of those big, bursts, but it was also the shots that Alex was able to put on him. Those shots started to add up after a while and it started to slow him down. And you look and you go, man, I can't ask for a fighter to give me more than what Khalil Rountree gave me in that fight or Alex Pereira. So that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, if I was Khalil, I probably would have lost the bet with Poatan and just shot when I started getting in trouble. But that's just not in him, man. He was in his mind. He knew he was not going to shoot. He's going to go out on his shield. He did everything he said he was going to do. He brought the fight against Alex. He brought the action. I'm sorry, but if I'm in the back and I'm Dana White, I'm like, how fast can I get this guy back to the title? Because when I look at the guys that he's fought outside of Ankalaev, none of those guys had a performance like him. None of them. Yuri fought him twice, didn't have a performance like that. Jamal Hill fought John Mahal, as his podcast likes to call him. John Mahal Hill didn't have a performance like that. You get down. There's no one of these other guys that are in there.
Yuri didn't have a performance like that. I mean, all of them.
That was the first one I said.
I know. I mean, it's crazy. But Yuri's a guy that was the champion, former champion. And you look and you go, come on, man. That guy is he's a stud. Khalil gave him as much trouble as anybody. I
honestly believed, man. I was thinking, Khalil's got the knockout chance, which I think he's proved he still does. He has the chance of knocking him out and getting him out of there with the big shot. But John, he just in those first 3 rounds, the judges had him winning the first 2 rounds. Khalil Rountree, he won the first 2 rounds. I thought the way that he dictated the pace of the fight, the way he was he was the one being the bully. I was surprised.
Did you think he was being the bully? Really?
I thought so in the first 2 rounds.
I thought Alex was kind of being the bully, kind of stalking and trying to get him to, engage in a moment. And I thought Khalil was real smart in the way he did engage. When he decided to go, he went and then spun out, lateral movement, reset, all smart.
Look, I think what we're confusing is, even though Alex was just putting the pressure. He wasn't doing enough to be the bully.
Wasn't throwing enough.
It's almost like, remember Jose Aldo fought Marlon Moraes.
Yep.
He was walking him down, trying to be the bully, but nothing was coming out.
Yeah, true.
And that's kind of what happened in this fight. Alex, I think, he was being very timid with overcommitting on things. He didn't want to get hit. And when he threw the kick and then got countered and dropped, that was eye-opening for him, going, look, I can feel the power. If he touches me, the explosiveness, the speed. You had said for weeks how fast Khalil was. He was going to be the faster fighter, and sure enough, he was. We knew he'd be more explosive. So if he was able to land the shot, would he be able to put him out? Because Izzy doesn't have a lot of power. Don't get me wrong,
No.
world-class kickboxer.
Oh, yeah,
you don't have to have the power if you're throwing slick techniques to land 2s and 3s. You just got to touch him once to lift the chin and 2 and 3 to put him away. That's how Izzy fights. Khalil doesn't fight that way. Khalil fights aggressive. He goes ahead and sits down in his punches and throws a lot of heat behind it. Just a fantastic fight, man. But I guess right now, the talk right now should be, where do we go from here for both of them? Like with Khalil Rountree, I think the only fight to make with him right now is Yuri. That's the only fight for me to make for him.
I can understand why you say that when you take a look at everyone in there, but I think there's a guy sitting there right next to him that he has a loss. I think he'd like to try to get it back, and he's a different fighter. They're both kind of in a different stage right now, but Johnny Walker is coming off of a loss.
I'm not going backwards, man. If I'm Khalil with a performance like that, John, I'm not going backwards.
I understand why you're saying that, but you're taking a look, and do you want to, if you're Khalil, would you like to get that mark back on your side? He beat you the first time. Do I want to get that fight back? Maybe you do.
My stock is too high right now. I'm not going backwards to fight the guy behind me.
Well, then you're gonna have to wait. Well, he's got to wait a little bit to heal up anyway from it and stuff. But you take a look, and a lot of the guys are already booked in this division or can't fight. But if you're going to be honest and say what's the most exciting fight I think you can have for him, it's Jamal Hill. But again, coming off a loss. No, but he's ranked way above him.
I mean, Yuri's ranked way above him too. I'll take the Yuri fight. It's like I think Yuri has more holes in his game that is able to be exploited. Yuri
would take Khalil down. He would work for the takedown, and is Jamal Hill gonna work for the takedown? No, he's gonna stand and bang with him. That's the exciting fight.
You're correct. It is an exciting fight. Jamal though is probably the faster fighter, or equally, but also longer.
Longer, yes, no doubt about it.
I think that,
but he's not faster.
Ooh, it's going to be close though, John.
I'm not saying it's not close.
Okay, so why would I want to put myself in that position when I'm fighting a guy who's basically equally to me, but longer than me and taller than me?
Because you're always going to have people that are longer and taller than you.
When you're Khalil.
and Yuri, and you look at Yuri. Yuri is longer and taller than him.
But Yuri's also coming off 2 knockout losses in a row.
Yeah.
That's one. And then on top of it,
Jamal's coming off a 1 knock.
Okay, but Yuri is all two knockout losses in a row. Confidence is probably not going to be what it was. He's also talking going to 85 now. That's how his confidence shook.
Yep.
And then on top of that, he's definitely not the faster fighter.
Nope.
I agree. And he doesn't have the power that Khalil has. Now, he could try to take Khalil down. He might be able to get him down. Can he hold him down? I don't know if he can hold him down. He might be able to. Yuri's grappling's not the best. He's not.
But let's be honest. He was able to take Glover Teixeira down repeatedly at times, right?
That was a 41-year-old.
I know when he started, but John, he still can wrestle.
You're not trying. You got to compare the two things. Come on, let's be honest. 41 versus a young guy that's a big body frame guy. Khalil's physically strong enough to stop the takedowns, I think. Anyways, I'm going with Khalil on that fight. And I'm thinking to myself automatically, I want to get Khalil Rountree back to the title shot as fast as possible. If I'm the UFC, he's going to stand.
How could a win over a former champion not set you up for a title shot again?
I think the Jamal Hill fight, Jamal Hill, is a lot harder of a fight for him than the Yuri fight.
I'm not too sure about that. I think that I'm not saying that it's an easy fight for him, but I'm saying with Jamal Hill, he doesn't really have to worry about the takedowns. He can stand and he can do exactly what he had going with Alex as far as, I can fight my kind of fight. With Yuri, he's going to have to absolutely defend against takedowns.
Yeah, he'll have to defend. There'll be other things too. He'll have to defend against all the funky weird shit.
The weird stuff.
Does. Yeah. Okay, now look, if you're Alex, I mean, there's only one fight really left for you to make in this weight class. Now, he's obviously got to get past Rakic which is
not
Ankalaev,
easy. That's
which
not
is
easy.
Ankalaev, which is not easy.
Nope.
But here's the thing, though, John. If Rakic wins and kills that fight, does Rakic get the title shot then, or do you see potentially like the Khalil Rountree versus Yuri or Khalil versus John Mahal? They fight, and then the winners of that fight for the title next.
It's so if Rakic beats Ankalaev, you just threw a giant wrench in the works, and it's a pick 'em at that point, in my opinion. That's where the UFC can sit there and go, okay, where do we want to go with this? Because you have the champion who is looking really good, and you can sit there and put who you want in place. You could give him the rematch to Blachowicz if you wanted. You could do a lot of things because it's not basically put in front of you. This is your guy by that win. If Ankalaev wins, he's going to get the next title shot.
Yeah, if he wins, he'll get the next title shot. I agree with you. There's no one else really for him to fight. But if Rakic wins, it does throw a wrench in things. I think that maybe they'll end up having Khalil fight either John Mahal or Yuri to see kind of where they're at in that situation and see how that fight goes. Because there's gonna be some time for the dust to settle. I mean, I wouldn't imagine Alex fighting probably anytime soon. I would say probably another 4 or 5 months before they even announce a fight. I'd say 4 months.
He needs a break.
He does. He even said, he's like, look, I know time is pressed against me, but I need a little bit of time.
Sure.
He was dealing with some broken toes, I think, or something in this fight.
Also dealing with an infection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
almost pulled out.
Nothing a Z-Pack can't take care of, my friend. Yeah, he almost pulled out, but he didn't. That's why he needs a Z-Pack now, bud.
That's right.
That's why. Hey, you can't go in there raw dog, buddy. Come on, all these years you should have learned. Sure. Anyways,
glove up.
Yeah, I'm looking at Alex. The Ankalaev fight is the only one that really excites me. Don't get me wrong. I'd be excited if it was him and Rakic. But the only thing is Rakic coming off the long layoff and then having the loss.
Well, it's not a long. They lost. Yeah. Okay.
Then coming off the loss, coming off the long layoff, and then he lost.
But he was looking good.
He was looking good. You could tell the fatigue set in though.
Yeah.
It's long time off. What, 2 years off? I think somewhere around there.
Long time.
Yeah, and then comes back and had a great performance in the first round and a half.
Yeah,
and then it was like, just kind of fell off. But
hard to get it back.
Business. That's the business. Hey, Dave, what else you got for us, buddy? But before we move on to that, though, I want to say, hey, make sure you guys subscribe to us on this channel. But on top of that, we also offer memberships, $4.99 membership, which we do giveaways for once a month. Which, by the way, we still got to get Alex. I know he likes to be called Alex, but Alejandro, his LMNT, which is right here. So he won a package of LMNT. This one here is the raspberry flavored, but I mean, got to reach out to him and make sure which flavor he wants. We got the chocolate, we got the raspberry, we got the citrus lime. Big John and I like the grapefruit probably the most. I do like the watermelon. That's a good one as well.
Watermelon's good.
Yeah, watermelon's good. And get him over what he won. There was a bonus package that he won and a giveaway that he won last month. I got to get that off to him here soon. So Alejandro, hopefully you're enjoying this show. And let's see what else Dave's got. What else you got for us there?
Remember, Saeed is in the chat. So what's up, Saeed? He's got a question, but first I got a super chat from GN who asks, for John McCarthy, why is there a rule against talking?
Are you saying fighters, corners?
It must be corner. It must be fighting. It must be in the fight.
Well, if you're talking about fighters themselves, fighters can talk. It's not what they cannot do is be they cannot use verbal language that is nasty. Let's say that, but they do all the time, and it's not a big deal as long as the fighters and the referees are the only ones that can hear it. Who cares? You get a lot of people that get all upset about that. They're fighting. If you don't like what he says, you can punch him in the face.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a silly one, but they don't want it to be where someone starts screaming out stuff that the referee.
Like Marab.
Well, that's a cornerman, and the reason that you can't do that is because what you're trying to do is gain the attention of your opponent to try to give an advantage to your fighter. It makes it real simple. You say you can't do it, and it keeps it from happening in any fashion. You get someone like Marab, who's kind of, he's this, ball of fire anyways. It's got this real personality where he wants to say something back. It just takes it away. So it is part of the rules, and it should stay. It's one of those things I would tell you, I would never change that rule.
If you guys had an opportunity and you haven't watched it yet, go back to the Tim Welsh interview that we had last week. Fantastic interview. He asked about why you can't use your opponent's name. John gives a great explanation, even better one than he did tonight. So go back and probably watch it on that one. Very clear-cut reasons why. And, it's good because you want to talk to the coach and say, hey, why do you even have that in there? Why would be the purpose? But I understand. It's to confuse him. And I think he knows that. That's just a good call on the corner guy. Until someone tells you not to. I mean, it's okay to bend the rules, right?
I always say, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Come on. And it's a matter of, even Tim Welsh said.
Tell that to my wife.
We had codes where it actually had Merab's name in it. And that's like, can't do that.
No. Yeah.
Okay. You can't do that because if you're calling out his name, now you're trying to talk to the fighter. No matter what you say as far as code, doesn't matter. You are bringing up that fighter's name. You're trying to grab his attention. And that's illegal.
What else you got for us there?
So Saeed does have a question too for John. What are some of the OG fighters whose careers knew? Sorry, I don't understand this. What are some of the OG fighters whose careers new MMA fans should go back and watch? I think he means new as in
you say new fans. Who are some of the MMA fighters out there that had fought in the past?
Yeah,
that new fans should go and watch.
I don't do well with poor grammar, by the way.
You're a slang guy from Scotland.
I'm a grammar master.
I am the grammar master.
They basically invented the English language, but they don't speak it, which is just insane to me. Go ahead.
Well, I will tell you that there's so many out there that someone should go out. But if you're going to start talking about, just off the top of my head, people that are out there that don't get the limelight like you would think. Some of them do. In the fact, Wanderlei Silva was someone that, man, you needed to watch Wanderlei Silva in his prime when he was fighting, in the UFC, in Pride. He was just a monster as far as he went after people. He fought. He was just, you always knew that you were going to get your money's worth watching Wanderlei Silva. So I would say Wanderlei Silva would definitely be one. People should have watched Fedor. Fedor is just, that guy that when he was in his prime, he was so dominant and so impressive with the things that he could do at times that's a guy that, should be watched. George St. Pierre absolutely is a guy that from, the past, if you're going to say past, he hasn't fought in a while. He was absolutely an incredible fighter. BJ Penn, you had to see BJ Penn fight. You had to understand what he was doing and how good he was at a time. Randy Couture as another one. If you're going to look and say a guy that didn't have the skill set of, what you see today with all these different, abilities. I mean, he could wrestle, like wrestle his ass off, and his Greco-Roman wrestling made his career what it is because he created a clinch game that was stifling. I can tell you, working out with him, he would work you in a clinch to the point where he could outwork you. He would exhaust you, get your heart rate way up and then just dominate you. And he had decent, stand up. He had decent submissions, but he always stuck with what brung him, and that was his wrestling. So those are guys that I would say from the past, those are ones you really want to go see.
All right, so I've got a couple. Since John just favored all the heavyweights.
What are you talking? I said BJ Penn.
He fought a heavyweight.
He did.
John favored all the heavyweights. I get it.
George St. Pierre was in there.
Yeah, he was. He's the lightest guy you talked about, by the way.
No, BJ was.
No.
BJ went down to 145.
Yeah, he did. All right. So, but when he was old, he had no more muscle anymore. Look, for me, there was a couple guys. But I would say Sakuraba. He was kind of that look, talk about the Pride days. Just he really energized the atmosphere. Kind of the I don't want to say Gracie killer, but it was more of that jiu-jitsu killer. He wanted to let everyone know that if you had jiu-jitsu, it wasn't going to work against him. He was a stud, man. He just the ground and pound, the way he mixed it up, stomping through the legs, all that stuff. Shogun Hua in the
Mongolian stomp.
The Mongolian stomp. Shogun Hua to me was somebody else in the Pride days, not the UFC days. He was on his last leg when he showed up to the UFC. I know everyone's like, oh, he was still good. He was still good. Became the champion.
Yeah.
Became the champion. But I want people to understand that
But he wasn't as dynamic.
he was the better fighter in Pride.
Yes.
And that lets you know that the better fighters were in Pride, because he came over and he just wasn't what he was when he was in Pride. And he still became champion. That should let you know that the Pride guys had a lot of top world-class guys. And one of my all-time favorites, who just does not get any of the love that he deserves, was Joaquin Hansen.
Oh yeah.
Gosh, he was fun.
He was good.
Just looked
Dude,
like
he'd be smoking in the back 5 minutes before his fight.
I've heard stories. I don't know how true they are. I would love to get him on and talk to him and interview him. But he was somebody that I heard that he flies in basically the day of.
Yeah.
And then because he
Day of
didn't
his
want
weigh-in.
Yeah, he just the day of the weigh-in, show up the weigh-in,
Yep.
basically try to, show up early that morning, stay awake all day, get a good night's sleep, and then show up and go to the fight the next day. But man, he was such a stud. All of his fights, he went out on his shield every single time. He brought the action. Just that, I don't want to say demonic look on his face, but man, he just had that.
He looked like a Viking.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys ever watched. Yeah, he did look like a Viking, but I don't know if you guys ever watched that movie Powder. Just imagine that guy, but just fucking
Just imagine
shredded.
that guy kicking your ass.
Just kicking the shit out of you. So, Vochenchin, another guy, was maybe
Igor
5'7",
Vochenchin.
5'8", 5'9", just.
That's a great pick, and a guy that went all the way back to the very beginning almost of MMA, and was knocking the shit out of people that fought in the UFC that were huge, and he went out and would just draw people. He had huge power.
Yeah.
Igor Vochenchin was Ukrainian wrecking ball.
He was just so fun to watch, man. So fun to watch. And he just brought the action, never really tried to let the dust settle. He came full bore. And you said Vanderlei Silva. The Pride Day Vanderlei Silva, just the stare down, the wrist movements. All that stuff was just, I just remember, we all got together for UFCs to watch him at a buddy's house for pay-per-view. But we all got together to watch Pride.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was like, oh man, Pride's on tonight. It was the talk. It was the talk around the gym at AK, talk around Dave Camarillo, some of the guys from the pararescue and jump from the Air Force. We would all get together, just big group of us that all trained jiu-jitsu together and watch. It was fantastic, man. We had a great time. But those are probably some of my fighters that I would really talk about probably the most if you're going to go back and watch. I know you can get into some of the earlier UFC, but it wasn't as skilled. This era right here where Sakuraba was starting to kind of separate himself from everybody else. Shogun Rua was that next level of stomping through the guard and chasing you around with head stomps and soccer kicks. He was fantastic. And
Dude, honestly, you got to look at the one thing, if there's one fight with Shogun Rua that I will never forget, it was against Quentin Rampage Jackson. And that fight took place, and Quentin, everyone knew how tough Quentin was, and his chin was like granite, and he destroyed Quentin in that fight. It was one of those, I was like, Quentin was like, what in the hell? I can't stop anything he's doing. And to the point, he was just like stuck in a corner getting beat on. At one point, Shogun Rua was the very best there was in the light heavyweight division, and by a large gap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have also said BJ Penn, which everyone knows I'm a huge fan. He's one of my closest friends in the sport. And for the people that don't have, you probably still know the name, is to go back and take a look at what he did. Would be Frankie Edgar.
Oh, good point.
Winning the title at 155
against BJ,
then defending it against BJ,
yep.
And then and then fighting Benson Henderson, which I thought he won. I think the second one for sure. The first one was close, but the second one I thought he won.
Yeah, he didn't win the first one.
Yeah, it was close, but I think I gave it to Benson.
What it is, yeah.
But the second one I thought for sure he won that fight. But look, what Frankie was able to accomplish, being how small he was, and just after years of months of training with him, being trained out with him in Jersey, he trained at AK for a while. What he was able to do with the size that he was at and the speed he had. Super talented. So, those are the guys I'd probably go back and take a look at.
Yep.
Giovanni Perez super chats. Does it irk you guys that it seems the UFC is losing all patience with grappling? I feel like we all know wrestling is the most effective way to fight, but nowadays they really protect strikers.
No, they look at it's like anything, it's and we talk to older fighters all the time, fighters that aren't, we just talked to someone, that guy came in with a wrestling background and I talked to him, I said, you just started liking me, the guy knocking him out. He goes, knockouts are the best. And that, look at this is what made me money. I got to go after the knockout. I have to, it is true that the UFC is going to want to see knockouts because that's really what gets people's attention. And I can understand it. But when you understand wrestling and then you see someone that wrestles and goes after the finish in the fight, I'm going to be honest, I don't like, watching someone stall. But when you see someone that can wrestle, take the fight where they're safe and not going to be hurt, and then starts looking for the finish, putting people in bad positions, you can go, I'm going to give you a fight. Bryce Mitchell, 145-pound fighter, okay? He's not great in the stand-up. Boy, is he fun to watch on the ground, though, because you watch him against, when he fought Charles Rosa, he went after Charles Rosa, and I want to say it was the first round, and it's a 10-8. He puts him in an arm triangle choke. He doesn't get it, but he puts him in it, and it was tight. And then he puts him in a twister, right? And goddamn, I give it to Charles Rosa because anybody who's been in a twister knows that freaking hurts, right? But it was all these submissions, one after the other, and you're looking at him going, that's grappling in MMA. That's a guy looking for the finish. And I don't care who you are. If you don't enjoy that, you don't enjoy real fighting.
Yeah, I think if you take a look at the history of the UFC, what they're looking for is guys that are not trying to just control the tempo of the fight.
Trying to finish.
If you take them down where they're trying to get the submission, they don't care if you're a grappler. But if you're going to be on top, this body head shit is not going to work anymore for them. They're like, look, we're paying you guys too much money. I go back and take a look at what fighters are getting paid in my era, even towards the end of my era, and they're getting paid a lot more now. And the quality of the fights has not really gotten that much better. And so what are they really paying for? So if they're going to start paying, then I know everyone's like, oh, fighter pay. These guys are getting paid a lot more money than a lot of these guys back in my era. Yeah. And those guys were laying it on the line to lay the groundwork to make this sport grow. Every time we walked out there, we were like, man, we could get cut. Now they need to keep fighters on the roster. So if you're exciting whatsoever, they're not letting you go. They're keeping guys that have lost 6 or 7 in a row because they're like, hey, he still has an opportunity to be exciting. Let's keep him because he'll bring the action. Those are the guys that they're going to try to keep. So I look at if you have a ground and pound like a Khabib, if you've got, they're not going to have a problem with you.
Nope.
Where they have a problem with is sometimes, and he's a good friend of mine, was John Fitch. John Fitch was so stubborn, and he was vocal about how stubborn he was. Me, I'm going to fight my fight. I don't give a shit what you say. And I said winning solves everything. It got him to the title eventually. But
he had like 9 wins in a row, I want to say.
Yeah, something like that. It was 9 or 10 or something like that in a row. And then he finally got his title shot. But the whole thing was he just was vocal about him, and he didn't care if he was excited or not. I'm gonna get there anyways. I'm gonna beat all these guys. Had he not been as vocal, I think they probably would have been a little bit better with him. But he was very vocal about it at press conference, and
John was vocal about a lot of things.
Yes, he was. But if you have ground and pound where you're not just trying to hold and stall, and you're letting it, you're posturing up and landing big elbows, you're posturing up trying to land big shots, that will get you a long ways. And I've always said this. The more you posture up and look to do damage, the more your opponent has to move, and then that opens up the submissions. So if you can't do both, then that's on you, man. That's on you. If you're afraid to lose a position, that means you got to get better at grappling and jiu-jitsu, whatever it is. If you can't ground and pound effective, that's on you. Spend some more time with your coach or spend some more time with a bag down on the ground and just working your positions. I can't tell you enough. Khabib would spend 3/4 of his training wrestling against the wall, wrestling in the open mat, and then working his ground and pound bag when he was doing his cardio. 3/4 of his training was that. The rest of it was okay. That's what he knew he was good at. That's what he knew was going to get him to keep him at the dance, the big show, keep him as a champ. He knew that. He wasn't walking away from all that. Still trained grappling, still trained jiu-jitsu, all those things, but he put a lot of emphasis on doing damage from the top. So
which he did. I think that a lot of this question probably comes because of the Jose Aldo versus Mario Batista fight. There's been all kinds of stuff that has been said about that fight. But if you're looking and being honest, Mario Batista was trying for takedowns. Jose Aldo happens to be one of the best defensive takedown specialists there is. A guy that can stop most people, just like BJ Penn was. A guy that has incredible balance. A guy that can stop most people's takedowns, so it slows the fight down. But if I've heard there's different. Aaron Bronstetter, who is a journalist in Canada, works with what is their ESPN, TSN up there and everything. Great guy. And he came up with, I think, they ought to start giving, if like Jose Aldo stops all those takedowns, well, you need to give him credit for that defense. No, it's up to Jose Aldo to be offensive in those situations to make it to where he wins it no matter what, because he stopped the takedowns and he was offensive. That's all he's got to do. It's Jose Aldo's job to be offensive, because he's not. That's on him. And Josh, did I not want Aldo to win that fight? I did.
No, I know. We both did. Obviously, we want to see the old grizzled veteran, the guy that's just the former champ and someone who we respect to the utmost.
Total
win. We wanted to see him win. I look at that. I look at Jose could have got off that fence anytime. We've seen it too many times in his career.
Too tired.
He used that fence for him just to relax. He was spending his time balancing on one leg. That lets you know he was never in any threat of getting taken down.
That's it. So, sometimes matchups are what they are, and that you can put two guys together that are great fighters, and every time you put them together, the fight's going to suck. It's just because their styles kind of cancel each other out, and there's just not a whole lot that either can do against the other. It happens in fighting.
Yeah, it'd be like if I fought Podcast Dave, it'd just be me just destroying him all the time. Okay? That's it. Just destroying
the guy. Didn't I get you from the neck from behind like 3 times already in your life?
Just tell him you're going to put the tiger choke on him. Put the tiger choke on him, Dave.
He even yelled at me one time. I came up behind him in his gym and I got him in the sleeper hold.
Put the tiger choke on him, Dave.
You can't do that when I'm in practice, man.
I swear I think you were dreaming.
No, you were dreaming because you were asleep because I choked you out.
What else you got?
Yeah, so I have a pretty light schedule, so I'm gonna hit all these super chats right now. We get one from JN super chat here for JT. Can you talk about Islam and Flu for Armin fight? I don't know that context. I'm assuming you might.
Yeah, we definitely can. Before we move on, though, I want to let everyone know, hey, we are continuing our partnership with OnlyFans. I want to thank you guys. Please head on over there, subscribe to us. It is free. John and I are trying to put together some stuff to give you guys some extra content over there. I think we've got about 900 subscribers now. Subscribe to us over there. It is free. I'm looking to do some more stuff. We do a live on there as well. So if you subscribe to us over there, we'll be able to get a lot more one-on-one attention with you guys during that time. So I want to thank you guys so much. And also, join our memberships here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. There's a $4.99 membership where we do giveaways once a month. And Alex, I know you heard that because I just saw you. Alejandro. Okay, but I want to thank you. I got to get you off your box of Element, like I was saying. And, I'll get you something else too. I got a little something else extra for you. So I want to thank you guys so much. So join us over at OnlyFans. All right, go ahead.
You know what we got to do? We'll do a giveaway after we get to 1,000.
Yes, we do need to do it
on OnlyFans.
Let's go. You guys come on. And also, too, when we do our lives every Tuesday night at 9:30 Eastern time, make sure you guys tell your friends, man. Tell them to come on board. Join our club over here. Join our club. We got Podcast Dave back, chilling. We've got the window in the background. Nice. There's a little weird guy in the back outside your window checking you out.
You can't see it in the live
little
stream.
Kilroy.
Oh, you can't see it in the live stream? Oh,
No.
sorry. I can see it.
Yeah. The Islam and Armin thing, I'll let you take it away.
Go ahead. Say, what was it? You want to see the Islam Armin thing?
So
in terms of
he's talking about Flu.
JN asks, can you talk about the Islam and Flu for Armin fight? I don't know what it means, but
what the flu? What's the flu?
It says, can you talk about Islam and Flu for Armin fight? I'm assuming somebody get the flu and they can't fight anymore.
Does it say FLU? Flu?
Yep.
So wow. They're saying he's sick.
Hey, JN.
I didn't hear that.
JN, it's not headline news because I went through all the headline news, but JN, if you clarify in a comment, I'll bring the guys back.
JN's got the extra inside material, huh? I wonder what that is.
Let me hop to JM25 super chat. and then we'll come back to JN if he
Okay.
clarifies. After watching Alex and what he's been able to do this year, in a scale of 1 to 10, what chances do you give Magomed to beat him? We kind of talked about it, but
Okay. What chances? I give him probably 80% chance if he wrestles.
Whoa.
If he wrestles.
Whoa.
If he doesn't wrestle, I give him about a 40% chance.
Oh shit, no.
Yep.
No. I'll say if he wrestles, I'll give him a 60% chance. His wrestling is damn good. If he doesn't wrestle, I will say he's got about a 15% chance.
Oh God, that's less than Khalil.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Khalil's more explosive on his feet than Ankalaev.
You're right, but he's also a lot smaller. Like
I didn't say he's not.
the reach to get there is going to be a lot more.
I'm not
He was jumping up. He was jumping and swinging up just to hit him in the knees. Like that's what it was. That's what I was watching. And when he was able to finally get there and touch the bottom of the chin, he was able to sit him down. But I'm saying with Ankalaev, the size will not be that much of a difference. Ankalaev might be actually right with him.
No, but he'll be close. You're
okay,
right.
a lot more
You're
closer,
right.
a lot closer than the Khalil thing.
Yeah.
I agree. Khalil's what, 5'8"?
No.
John, you know I like to just bust people's balls on the size, right?
all right. Sorry, are you still good on this?
No, I think I'm going to go if he wrestles, I think he's got a good chance in a 5-round fight because after he gets 1 or 2 takedowns, the takedowns will come easier. I don't think that Alex going to be able to stop. Once the 1 takedown comes, 2 takedown comes, the chain wrestling of Ankalaev will be easier for him to get the win. Now, Ankalaev's got to make a choice. Do you want to be the world champion or do you want to keep being stubborn and fight on the feet? Why fight this guy on the feet where he obviously he's one of the best? So why? I don't get it. I don't understand that. You want to prove something, go whatever.
Just but like you said, because he's stubborn.
Yeah, it's true. And he's even said, I'm going to knock him out. Maybe he will. Maybe he will. But I've also said that when you threaten the takedown enough, it opens up that opportunity. It opens up that opportunity to get those takedowns, but it also opens up the opportunity for knockouts. And Ankalaev has the potential, I think more so than anyone that Alex has fought, to wrestle him and threaten the wrestling enough to actually land the knockout shot. So if he uses his wrestling just enough to get Alex to be hesitant and drop his hands, he may be able to get the knockout as well. Nah.
We're gonna see.
We're gonna see if he can get past Rakic first.
He's fighting coming up in Abu Dhabi, so that's not an easy fight that he's got there, and it's gonna be a tough one. So we'll see if he gets there.
All right, what else you got?
GN did clarify here, so GN says it was in an article that Josh Thompson reveals the real reason for Islam having a close fight against Armin.
That was in the first fight.
No, he didn't have the flu. He had I think he had
staph, and he took antibiotics.
I'm trying to remember. One of them he had the flu, one of them he had the flu, and one he had staph. I think it was the Armand fight. He had the flu.
So he asked you to expand on it.
Okay, the only expand what was it? He had it literally probably 8 days. He got the flu before the fight, and he didn't want to pull out, so he just decided to go ahead and go along with it. I mean, but I don't want to expand too much, only because they're both different fighters now.
Totally.
Armand's not even he's not even close to what he was when he fought Islam then, and Islam is not what he was then either. Islam's way more confident on the feet now. Islam
way better
on the feet now. Oh. His confidence, everyone has talked about, you feel like you're 20% better of a fighter because you're the champion now, and now he's defended it multiple times. So I don't understand. There's not Armand's still trying to get there. I don't understand what the conversation is. That fight is irrelevant. They can both wrestle the shit out of each other. Expect to see some great wrestling in that fight, but it's really going to come down to, I think, the striking in that fight.
I agree.
Neither one's going to want to wrestle that much in a 5-round fight. That fight they fought before was 3 rounds. This fight is 5. Big difference on how you approach this fight, especially early in the fight.
And when you're talking about their wrestling, it's like when Armin shoots, for a takedown, his ability to possibly put Islam on the ground, it's there. Can he keep him there? That's where he's going to have the problem. And it's no different for Islam with Armin. It's difficult to keep someone that is, in shape and being able to go and to keep them on the ground in that type of situation when they're that good on it, not an easy thing. It's when they break down and they start to get tired. That's when they just start to give in to being on the ground. So you take a look. I honestly think that fight's going to end up being who's better on the feet by far, because their wrestling is going to almost, just zero each other out.
Yeah. I'm going to look at Islam's got to be very careful he doesn't get hit with the big overhand right. That's really, I think, the only threat for him in this fight. And I think also
same in reverse for the left hand down the pipe.
I say left hand down the pipe and then the follow up with the head kick. Arman's the shorter fighter. And so he also likes to dip his head down when he's throwing his shots. Yeah. So he's got to be careful with the knee up the middle, and he's also got to be careful with the head kick. So if Islam starts to threaten the knee up the middle, that'll get him to keep his head up. And then Islam will throw the straight right or the straight left, then follow it up with the head kick, same side or opposite side. So he's got to, and Islam's kick is sneaky. I can't explain it to you guys enough. I said this years ago. People were like, oh, his stand-up is trash. And then now look at me. Look at me. I feel like I'm fucking Mystic Thompson. Anyways.
Telepathic Thompson.
What else you got?
Yep.
Look at the video though. Both of them, when I saw they were both walking out, you have Arman and Islam. They look like babies. That's how long ago this fight was. When you saw them both, look at Arman's face. He looks like a baby. Now he's a full-blown man.
Look at what's happening with the takedowns. Every time they're on the ground, what happens?
Yeah, Islam foot swept him right to his back.
But then it's right back up to his feet.
Yeah. Yep.
So they're going to cancel each other out as far as the wrestling.
Oh yeah.
They're both outstanding.
Phenomenal. God, I'm so glad we got rid of those dumb Reebok pants and shorts and shit. They were such trash.
I didn't know it was a we decision.
Well, I mean, if I get a watch, it's we now. That's really what it comes down to. All right, what else you got?
Yeah, before we move on, Giovanni Perez just want to say, Big John, thanks for your contributions to my fave sport. All right.
Oh, man, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's my favorite sport too.
Into this next one here. So
you mean you didn't like the sports they played at the Diddy parties?
It was just past the bottle of baby oil. That's all.
Yeah. What you got there?
Yeah, so Nunes puts out this video. She's remixing a song with her own words, insinuating that she is open to a return. So I want to get your thoughts on this kind of like little triangle we have going on in the bantamweight division right now. We got Pena, who dismissed Kayla at the last pay-per-view there this past weekend, and then of course Kayla calling for the title fight. Amanda playing these games that she might want to come back and get this fight. So, who do you want to see in that mix there? Who if Amanda wants to come back, should she be right in there? Do you want to see Kayla get it first? Do we want to see Amanda and Kayla? What do you guys think?
To me, it's real simple. It's like I don't care about seeing Juliana Pena fight Amanda Nunes again. Don't care about that at all. But I'd love to see Juliana Pena fight Kayla Harrison, especially based upon the way that Juliana's been kind of trying to push Kayla Harrison to the side, like, oh, you don't matter. She matters. She's in the division, and she is your biggest competition, because right now Amanda's not in the division. And if Amanda wants to come back, that's great. But I would give that fight, the first fight goes to Kayla Harrison against Pena. If Pena gets past Harrison, then if you can bring Amanda Nunes back and she's going to stay, then bring her back. You don't want her to come in, beat your champion, and walk away again. That's not going to be good for you. But either way, I can bring Amanda Nunes in and have her fight the winner of Pena versus Harrison. That's a good sell no matter what, because you can sell the trilogy if Pena beats Harrison, or you can sell the training partners, used to be from the same gym, the GOAT against the two-time Olympic gold medalist. Oh, it's an easy sell.
I mean, let me say this. The fight to make is Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison.
Yes.
That's it. There's no other fight to make. And everyone's like, oh, well, what about the title? I'm sorry, but right now, that title doesn't mean anything. It means something to Juliana, and I think, hey, she fought a great fight. She won the title. Good job. Good for you.
Did she fight a great fight?
She won the belt, John.
She won.
Look,
Did
it's
she
hard to
fight a
get through
great
5
fight?
rounds against anybody at the top. I don't
That's
care if
true.
it's the female division or the males division. It's hard to do that. So I got to tip my hat to her. She did a good job. She got the fight. She won the fight. She got the title. It's hard. It's a lot to handle under pressure. That being said, this fight right here, I think if Amanda comes back, she just fights Kayla. That fight right there. I mean, you could honestly say if you wanted to put up a BMF title belt for the females, there you go. You got Amanda Nunes part of it, and someone that just came off the blocks of another promotion, being the champion over there, lost it right before she came, but then comes over here, dominant performance against Holly Holm, was a former champion, and then had a great, a pretty good performance her last fight. She got cut first time she ever made someone ever made her bleed her own blood.
She was on antibiotics.
Okay, and so there we go. So we're gonna basically the fight to make. Juliana says, there's not a bigger fight to make in the female. We'll do great pay-per-view numbers. No. Her, Amanda Nunes, and Kayla Harrison will do great pay-per-view numbers.
Yeah.
Juliana Pena and Amanda Nunes, it will not do great pay-per-view numbers. And that's no knock on her. I don't mean to dig at her if that sounds like a dig at Juliana Pena. The fight to make is going to be Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes. If you were to bring a BMF title belt for the females, make it that fight. Make it that fight. And then that could be your main event. They were formed. I can sell that right now. Former training partners, this and that. There's sound bites from Amanda talking about how good Kayla Harrison is. Kayla Harrison talking about how good Amanda is. The sound bites, how they train together, and then now make that fight happen. And the winner of that could fight for the title after that. Who knows? Maybe Amanda walks away after that. You never know. But there's fights to be had there. I mean, you got Raquel Pennington too, still kind of in that mix. She's still there. She's not gone. She didn't walk away and retire. She's there. So you got Raquel that can fight one of them as well. So who knows? If Amanda Nunes is going to fight Juliana Pena, get the title first, then maybe Kayla Harrison fights Raquel Pennington. But then you may potentially lose the Amanda fight. I would do the Amanda and Kayla fight right away. First fight. Right away. That's the money fight. That's the fight. That's the only fight to do. No one cares about the rest.
It is the money fight.
Yeah. Money. What else you got for us?
Right now, when you're looking at that, people can sit there and say what they want. And like you said, no disrespect to Juliana Pena. That belt doesn't mean anything in people's minds as far as what fight do they think is the best fight.
Yeah. Look, the first fight was great on Juliana Pena's side when she got the fight, the finish, everything. Fantastic performance. Yeah. But what we saw was a rejuvenated Amanda Nunes and understanding what was at stake, and that's the Amanda Nunes I think you're going to get when you come back.
Well, that's what you saw when she did come back,
yeah,
and took the title right back.
Yep, and it was a very one-sided fight. Most of those rounds were 10-8.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a very one-sided fight. So, hey, what else you got, Dave?
All right, let's hop into we have UFC this weekend. Royval versus Tyra, and that's Saturday night at the Apex. What do you guys think of this card?
I'll tell you, that fight unto itself. That's a great fight. You're looking at, flyweight division doesn't get a whole lot of, glamour for the most part anyways. A lot of people kind of pass it by like, oh, it's fun to watch, but it's not, those guys are so talented. Royval is so talented, but Tyra this kid is good, Josh. He's so slick, and he's so calm and composed in his fighting style. He believes, he knows, and look, I truly believe Brandon Royval is one of the best flyweights there is right now, but Tyra is special. And so he's undefeated at this point. Not that Royval can't beat him. I just don't think it's going to happen. I go with Tyra in the fight, but man, that's a great main event.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tyra also. The only thing that concerns me about Tyra is, look, I know he's able to knock the cobwebs off in the first fight that he had in the UFC.
Yeah.
This is his second fight. It's just starting to feel a little bit more like home, but it's still not quite there. You know what I mean? Like the first fight, he was set up to win.
Yeah.
This fight, though.
But he's had 6 fights in the UFC now. No,
I'm understanding what you're saying, though, John, but like this is that level of competition, though. It's another step, John. This is a huge step up, I think. Alex Perez was not on his level whatsoever.
Alex Perez is a former title contender.
I get it. But this
Okay.
division's always been weak.
If you're, that is what I'm talking about to a point. But he does have good wins against people that are quality fighters, and one being Alex Perez. Now that was an injury. I know that, but look, he was looking good in that fight. He was doing well. This is one of those ones I look and Royval is slick, but he's going to have a hard time keeping Tyra off of him.
It's a big step up in competition.
I didn't say it wasn't.
And Royval is, I don't know, man. He's just a dog. He's somebody that he's just a dog. I look at these kind of guys. When you're fighting someone from overseas, when you're fighting somebody from Japan, whatever, like just the combination of the travel time, the ability to get in there with someone who's just relaxed. Like Royval's out there having fun.
Yeah.
And so those are the hardest guys to fight. And so this is going to be his toughest test. I think Royval's got a good chance. I would say if I'm going to give this 60-40.
My real question is this. Royval used to be with Greg Montoya. That's no longer there. And they got their own little group. Obviously, Alex Hernandez is part of that little group. He came out. He fought a tough fight against Austin, but he won. A lot of people could look and say, I thought it could have gone the other way. But when you're not with those people that made you comfortable before, how are you going to perform? It's questionable.
True. But John, you know what? This is the next fight is the fight I'm most looking forward to on this card. Is like Brad Tavares versus Young Park. Young Park. Did I say Young? I said Young.
Well, it's one of those. John Young.
This is gonna be a great fight,
dude. This is the Iron Turtle. I like the Iron. This guy comes to fight. He does, and Brad Tavares is turned into a very, very composed technician. As far as Brad used to be that guy that was typical Hawaiian fighter. He'd just go out and scrap. He's smart in the way he fights now. He's got beautiful kicks. His hands are good now. He's hard to take down. He's got all the tools that you look at to say he could give Park trouble. But the one thing with Park is he just keeps coming. He's a zombie. He is a zombie. So Tavares has just got to continue doing what he does throughout. It's going to be a 3-round war, but Park is a guy. If you give him an inch, he's going to take it and he's going to get the win.
Absolutely. I agree. I think Tavares got to be careful that he doesn't slow down as the fight goes on, because when you fight those guys, like I had to do this for the Nate Diaz fight. I literally had to make sure I didn't get talked into caught up in the exchanges of the trash talking, like the FUs and like people have done before in the past. I took a lot from watching when he had fought Donald Cerrone. And it was like Donald got into that whole mix. Other fighters that had fought him as well, Nate, and just kind of let Nate get into their psyche. And just all of a sudden, they couldn't help themselves. They wanted to take his head off. With Park is not someone who's going to really talk the trash in there, but he's going to walk you down. He's going to take your best shot. You've got to make sure that you're not unloading your weapon fully to where there's no ammunition left anymore. Because he's going to still be there in round, the end of round 2, round 3, after you've emptied your whole clip in him. And he's going to be like, oh, shit, man. What am I going to do now? Like, that's that reality. He's like, man, I'm so exhausted. I can't even get this guy off me now. I can't take him down. I can't do anything. So Brad Tavares, though, always a fun fight to watch, man. Love watching him fight. So looking forward to that fight. Next fight's going to be a good one, too, though, John.
It is a good one. Rafa Garcia against Grant Dawson. Obviously Garcia's got great wrestling. Grant Dawson is a well-rounded fighter. He's got really good stand-up. Can he keep Garcia from putting him on his back? And if he does get put on his back, can he get himself back to his feet? But, for the most part, Grant Dawson has looked fantastic, especially, as of late. I know he had the loss to Bobby Green, but then he did come back with the win against Salicki. And the guy is good. He's a talented young man. He just got to believe in himself.
Yeah, I think he will. But I think Rafa, though, is just that Rafa, he is somebody who he will just bring it to you no matter what. Doesn't care what you're bringing to him. He will bring it to you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you do. He's not concerned about what you do well in there. He's going to fight his fight. He's going to try to be the hammer the whole time. So this is going to be a good fight, man. I think it's going to be a lot of action. It's gonna be a fast-paced fight. And I think it's kind of whoever gets tired first, which I think is probably gonna be Grant Dawson.
Oh, I don't think so.
You think Garcia's gonna get tired first?
Yeah, because Garcia is going to be trying for takedown. If you remember, Grant Dawson fought Mark Madsen. Okay, Mark Madsen, Olympic wrestler.
Yeah.
And undefeated at the time that he fought Grant Dawson. That was his first loss. And Dawson was able to stop just about every takedown that he tried. And he exhausted him. And I think in a lot of ways, Rafa's going to do the same thing. He's got to be working for the takedowns. He's got some stand-up, but it's not technically as good as Grant Dawson's. So I just look and say he's going to have to work hard to get the takedowns because Dawson is actually very good technically in stopping them.
Sorry, John, I'm riding with the Mexican in the cardio.
You go, baby. You go.
The D-Rod and the Alex Morano fight is a fantastic
Love that fight. Love that fight. Alex Morano can fight on the feet. He's fantastic on the ground. He's going to want to be on the ground against Daniel Rodriguez, and Daniel Rodriguez is going to make sure that he stays on his feet and slings leather at him. This is a great matchup. This is one of those fights you look at. It should be a very action-packed fight.
This is the knock on the UFC is right after they get done with a pay-per-view, you normally get a really shitty card. Yeah, this is a pretty good card.
No, this one's got a lot of good fights.
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? Al Hassan, fantastic fighter
against Freud. Yeah,
that should be a good fight.
He's explosive as hell.
And Chickawani versus Gooden should be a good fight.
That's a fun fight.
Look
at the first one.
Yeah,
the very first fight of the night is Jonathan Pierce against Pat Sabatini. That's a great matchup.
That's the fight you have. No, I have the first fight of the night is Clayton Carpenter versus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah, you only scroll down so much.
That's the prelims. Yeah.
Gotcha. I mean, you got Themba versus Nico Price. You've also the best one.
Kung Fu Panda. My Kung Fu Panda candidate. I love Chris Barnett. He's fun to watch. He's athletic. Yeah, he doesn't have that Greek god physique. God bless him. He doesn't need it. And he's going against a guy that can sling leather. But Chris Barnett he's got all kinds of fancy moves, man. He's got spinning attacks. He's fun to watch. And we know Junior Taffa can put anybody's lights out on the feet. So
Chris Barnett is like if DC had a baby.
I like Chris Barnett.
Oh, I love it, man.
He's so fun to watch. And he's talented. Look at people say what they want. He's got talent. He really does.
Mm-hmm. No, he's just fun, man. I love his feel good energy when he comes in there.
Yeah.
He's there to have fun. He's there to put on a good show. He's there to, put on a good fight. Does the best he can. I love watching him fight. That's going to wrap up our UFC talk. But as we wrap this all up, I want to make sure you guys know this show is brought to you by LMNT and BetUS. And make sure you guys join us over at OnlyFans. We are continuing our partnership over there. It is free. Subscribe to us over there to get you guys some extra content, some pictures, some images. John at the farm, working on the farm. You got a new donkey now, right? Got another Dave out there.
I got a donkey 2 days ago, and I got a baby bull today.
What did you name your donkey? Podcast Davy?
No, we lost a dog. We lost a dog here. So the dog was Maximus, and so this is Maxie.
Was Maximus old?
Maximus was not that old. Maximus got hit by a car and had problems after the whole time. We tried to take care of him, had his surgery on his leg. They took the bone apart. It just never worked out. This was one of those dogs, man. This dog would chase any vehicle, right? And he was fast as hell. To watch him run across to, a pasture, he would be going, 35, 40 miles an hour, just balls out, fifth gear going. And then to watch it when he couldn't run anymore, I was like, this is horrible. But
pay the consequences for chasing the dog, for chasing the cars.
Chasing the cars.
Yeah. You got something else for us, Dave?
Yeah, let's get Alejandro super chatting. Who would win, Pena versus Valentina?
I think if Valentina put the weight on properly, I would give it to her. But if she tries to jump up right now, she just has been fighting at 125 for too long. You can see when you look at her body, she's physically in shape. She looks fantastic, but she looks a little light. When she was fighting at 135, you could tell she had put the muscle on. She filled out a lot better, and it'd be hard for her to put that extra 10 pounds back on. It would take some time, especially being a female. It's not as easy to put the weight on and off. I think for being a female
quality weight class. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, so I would go with Valentina if she put the weight on properly, but if she tried to jump up and fight within, say, a 4-month period, I'd go with Juliana.
I would look and say that's a tough fight for Valentina right now. I'm just, I think on the feet, obviously Valentina's the better fighter. She's got more tools in the toolbox, but on the ground, Valentina gets a lot of people and gives them problems. I don't think she's going to give Juliana a problem down there. Juliana's good on the ground. She doesn't get enough credit for as good as she is. And I give Rocky Pennington a lot of credit for stopping what she was doing on the ground, and a lot of it not panicking in situations and stuff, because Juliana is absolutely good there.
Was that what you wanted, Dave? There was something that I wanted that someone sent to me, and I thought I put it on here.
I want to talk about
the
undisputed light heavyweight title in boxing that is going to be happening this Saturday in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, with Artem Beterbiev going up against Dmitry Bivol. How do you see that one going?
Holy shit. I think it's going to be probably one of the best fights of the year, if not the fight of the year. It has the potential to be, but I'm going to go with, how do you say his name? Beterbiev?
Beterbiev. I can understand why. Yeah.
I'm going to go with him. I like Bivol a lot. I just think Beterbiev right now to me he's kind of like, I don't know if enough people have seen enough on him for people to go, hey, I think that he's skilled enough to get past Bivol. Everyone's seen Bivol fight because of his past fights with Canelo. And they're like, oh man. So they're going to hold him a little bit higher. But I think Beterbiev is the guy that people are like, oh, who's this guy? They've seen him fight. They know he's good.
Who's this guy? This guy's got freaking cannons.
Yes.
In his fist.
Yes. But I look at this fight. I think it's going to be a fun fight. It's going to be who can touch whose chin first. Do they have a good enough chin to keep it on the feet after they get hit? How do they recover? How do they make adjustments throughout the fight? Because they're going to have to make some adjustments. It's going to be a fun fight, but I'm going with Beterbiev.
You got to take a look and say both guys, 23-0 for Bivol, 20-0 for Beterbiev. Beterbiev's got, I want to say, 18 knockouts in his 20 wins. So heavy hands. You know what this fight reminds me of? Back a long time ago. I don't even know if you remember this. You were probably too young to even care. There was a guy named John the Beast Mugabe. And John the Beast Mugabe, I think, had 31 wins with 31 knockouts. And he took on Marvin Hagler. And it was the big fight. It was the thing. And and this is how I honestly think this fight's going to go. I could be totally wrong. But I think, obviously Artem Beterbiev can knock out Bivol if he lands good shots, and he's a fantastic finisher. When he hurts someone, he goes after him. He's a savage. But I think it's the same thing. Mugabe tried to land the big shots against Hagler. Hagler being the technical fighter, he also had power. But Bivol is proven he is a beautiful boxer as far as controlling range, controlling distance, keeping people right at that point where they're throwing and they just miss by a half an inch, and then he counters and does those things. I look at it and I say, if the fight ends early, it's going to be Beterbiev. He's going to be the winner. If the fight goes the distance, it's going to be Bivol because he just boxed Beterbiev to death. It's called boxing, not fighting. There's a reason why.
You got something else for us there, Dave?
Yeah, I wanted to give you the chance to talk about Dana White's Contender Series. I know you had somebody on there tonight.
Yeah, my boy Cody Steele, man. I've known Cody for a long time. He was a young guy. I trained with him over at Checkmat out of he was in Austin, but he came out for a Pan Am's training session when I was out there training at the same time. Just a good kid, man. All around good kid. Comes from a good family out of the Austin area. Just a real fun, action-packed grappler. Someone who does not try to hold you, clinch you. He wants to really try to put the work in. He chases submissions. If you go through and you watch some of his fights, I say fights, but some of his grappling matches in grappling, he is phenomenal, man. Just so fun, constantly chasing submissions, trying to make it action packed. So if you guys get an opportunity to watch him fight, I heard he won. I didn't get a chance to see it, but I heard he won.
Body shot, man.
Nice body shot. Kid's a stud, man. All around good kid too. Respectful. Love watching him fight. Love training with him. I mean, I think he was a purple belt at the time. Maybe no, he was a purple belt. Man, I was like, get off me, kid. Leave me alone. You know, when you're getting a little bit older, these kids are coming up, they're just all just spitting vinegar or whatever it is, man. He was a lot. He's a lot. And he was just so good, just so talented. So good for him. I'm glad he got the win. Looking forward to seeing what he does next. I mean, I remember trying to tell a couple managers before when he first started getting into training and trying to do MMA. And I said, man, if you guys are smart, you guys will pick this kid up. They ignored me. And I think they're going to be kicking themselves in the ass, man. The kid's talented. Super talented. Love it. Love it. What else you got for us, Dave?
All right. Well, if we don't have anything else to go on here, I'll wrap up on a super chat from Alex Johnson.
Okay.
Hey guys, love the podcast. With how much eye pokes affect a fight, do you think the UFC will ever change the glove design for a more closed fist, or do you think it should be a point deduction?
Well, they just changed the glove design,
Bingo.
Alex. So they just changed it. It is more curved, so it keeps the hands a little bit more bent. Sure, there was a couple eye pokes in this last weekend's fights. But that's what's going to happen.
All against one guy.
But that's what's going to happen, though. But there has been less eye pokes since they recreated the glove. There's not much else they can do for it unless you decide to put them in a full boxing glove. There's not really not much else they can do for it. You know, guys are just at a natural reaction. Is our job to parry the punch? Is this? This is how we kind of do it. You watch some boxers, they do it like this with their fist closed. Oscar De La Hoya used to do it like this with his fist closed. He would almost bang his glove against his opponents. But I know a lot of guys that are pro boxers that they keep their glove open so they stay relaxed, so they're not tense, and they just parry it down, and counter off that. MMA guys are very similar because we have the freedom to open our hands. So we can catch it, kind of push it down, or we can just tap it across to the other side and then try to counter. But it's going to always happen. There's not much else they can do with it. I know Pride, they had less eye pokes because their glove was just basically like an L shape. So you put your hands in there and it was like an L shape. So it kept your finger kind of locked. Bellator gloves, the earlier gloves before Scott Coker took over, the Everlast ones, those were curved shaped. I like those. Also, too, the Strike Force gloves. They were made by Fairtex. They were good, but they were more of a grappler friendly glove. But on top of it, too, so a lot of people broke their hands. In those gloves. But overall, I think the UFC did a good job by changing it. When I first saw their new glove design, I was like, man, this shit looked like an old Harbinger. What a piece of shit. But I think the proof is in the pudding, man. Less eye pokes. I know we had some this last weekend, but I've noticed that there's been less eye pokes. And it doesn't seem like there's less knockouts. It seems like the knockouts are there when they're there. So I think good for them. Yeah, Dave, John, do you have anything else on that?
No, you covered it all. It's perfect.
I mean, I am one of the top refs also too, by the way, guys. I know the rules, judging refs, all this stuff. Anyways, Dave, there was something that I put on the news. It was related to the fighter settlement. And there was a list, MMA Fighting put it out. There was a list of fighters that had wrote letters. And I wanted to read that off, but for some reason, my page isn't coming up.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, it was on MMA Fighting on their Instagram. I wonder if it's because I'm also on our super chat thing as well. If you guys have super chats, you guys want to get them in real quick, go ahead and ask a couple questions while Dave's searching this so we can talk about this. I'd like to talk about this for a split second. There were several fighters. Here. You got it? There was Kung Lee that wrote a letter.
Spencer Fisher, Vanderlei Silva, a couple other Brazilian guys.
Who posted it, Josh? So I can
MMA Fighting. Dave, I think John has it. You have it there, buddy?
I have the story that's up on MMA Fighting. I pulled that up.
Okay.
Hold on one second.
I think it was on their Instagram, MMA Fighting's Instagram. I have it in the chat, in our news chat, but for some reason it's not letting me pull it up. Yeah. I don't know why. Anyways, really what it was a plea. Let me just say. It was a plea from a lot of these fighters telling the judge that they would like the settlement to go through because this money would help them get the health care they need, would help them pay their mortgages, get their mortgage payments caught up, would help them.
They deleted the post.
Not fighting. Oh, they deleted it?
Yeah, they deleted that post.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, something must have happened.
They didn't want to make it public, probably. That's not a good look either. I mean, but whatever it was, they deleted it. Interesting. But it was a post basically there was fighters that had written letters to the judge saying that we really need this money. And I think some of the fighters had said, like, look, I'm on the verge of filing bankruptcy. This will help me get through this. I may lose my house at this time in my life. I need this money the most. And I've continued to say this, is that there's a lot of fighters. And I see it with the guys now that are making a lot more money than I ever made. And it's hard to say. It's hard to see, John, because I see them, some of them driving around in these $180,000 cars, $250,000 cars.
Yeah.
And I just want them to know that, it's difficult after you're done. It's not easy. Like, you're going to live this, you're going to enjoy that first 3 years, because people still will be like all over you, remembering you, talking to you, when your next fight.
Then
I'm
everyone
retired. And within that 5-year period, I mean, I'm only 6 years removed, I think, somewhere around there. I'm about 5 years removed, 5-6 years.
6 years.
I mean, like, sponsors stop calling, people stop talking to you. I mean, like, we have a successful podcast, and it's not, and like, it still kind of dries up. I mean, I'm out there hustling, trying to do what we can to get, to make sure that we stay busy in this era, in this business area where we're just still working hard. It's going to be difficult if they didn't allow themselves to set themselves up. And I'm not talking about buying cars and owning and buying your house, and you need to start setting yourself up for long term. Whether if you want to own a gym, go ahead and own a gym. Okay. I can tell you now, the gym business, it's not bad if you're there daily. You're the one consistently running it. If you have in your mindset that you're just going to buy a gym, it's going to run itself.
No.
We just had Bobby Southworth on. That show's going to drop next Monday or Tuesday. Listen to him.
Yeah.
He's there every single day, working, teaching all the classes, doing everything. You can only stretch yourself so much until you've got to hire in some employees, and those cost money. Everything's going to cost some money. If you think the money's still going to be there, think about this. There is NFL players, basketball players, athletes that have made hundreds of millions of dollars. Mike Tyson, and they have filed bankruptcy.
That's right.
Don't think because you made 8 million, 12 million that you're going to be good. Because you're not living the lifestyle that can be maintained for 40 years if you only made $12 million. That $2 million house you bought, it ain't going to pay for itself.
There you go.
So
here, I'm going to read off a couple of what some of these guys said about that lawsuit and why they would like it to be settled by the judge, Mr. Boulware. Vanderlei Silva said, while fighting for the UFC, I suffered many significant injuries, including concussions. I fear that during my career, I have suffered traumatic brain injury, and I am noticing symptoms common with TBI and CTE, including depression, mood swings, and irritability. I suffer from sleep apnea and have difficulty sleeping and breathing. That I can recall, I have had 4 surgeries on my nose, 1 on my face, 2 on my left knee, 1 on my right knee, and 1 on my elbow. These funds would also allow me to obtain the health care I need and keep a roof over my head and food on my table. The sad reality is that funds years from now may be of no use to me. I can use and enjoy. And I can go on with Kung Lee if you want.
Yeah, Kung, I think it said something about he may have to file bankruptcy.
Yeah, so Kung said basically due to the strain of my current health limiting my everyday activity from working consistently. And a lot of these, a lot of these guys basically said that their health is bad and that they wake up in pain all the time. And that comes from, being in a combative sport, but working consistently, I've been relying on a friend who, through God's provisions, has generously sponsored my essential needs, including food and shelter, while I await the settlement of this case. Without this support, I would likely need to file bankruptcy and apply for disability to manage my basic living and healthcare needs. Sad. Shane Carwin was also in there. He says, despite having a degree in engineering from the Colorado School of Mines, I have been unable to maintain, because if you recall, Shane was an engineer. I've been unable to maintain adequate focus to hold down an engineering job, Carwin wrote. I face serious challenges in meeting basic everyday expenses for food, shelter, and transportation in basic life skills necessary to function. These funds would also allow me to obtain the healthcare I need and keep a roof over my head and food on my table. The sad reality is that funds years from now may be of no use to me. I desperately need these funds now.
Yeah, I think Spencer Fisher was probably the one that I've heard the most. I didn't read his,
Yeah.
but I do know that he was on there. But people have talked to me and reached out to me saying, hey, did you notice any difference in your stem cell treatments that you got? How does it affect your brain? Can they do anything that will help that? And there's other, obviously other things, whether you're doing psilocybin, mushrooms, that type of stuff to help with your brain regeneration.
I can read Spencer's if you want.
Yes, please do.
Okay. While fighting for the UFC, I suffered many significant injuries, including broken hands, torn shoulders, torn retina, fused neck, bulging disc, a plastic buckle in my right eye, and many concussions. I had a right hip replacement in 2021 and am facing a left hip replacement in the near future. I have had 2 spinal taps that show the presence of the tau protein, which is a positive indicator of dementia. With tau protein is what CTE is. I struggle with problem solving and rationalization skills and get confused easily. I rely on my amazing wife, Emily, to function in daily living skills. I fear that during my career, I have suffered traumatic brain injury and am noticing symptoms common with TBI and CTE, including depression, mood swings, and irritability. To date, no treatment for CTE has been found. I have been diagnosed permanently disabled by an independent neurologist. I also suffer bouts of vertigo. I experience memory loss and endure frequent headaches. It goes on with that this would truly be life-changing money for him and his family.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say it enough. You've got to make sure that you establish that I see a lot of these fighters that make millions right now. They're making good money. And I see them getting ready to retire and they're like, yeah, but I'm good, man. I'm set for life. You're not set for life. I can't tell. Maybe you are. Maybe
they are. You don't know what life is going to bring, though.
You don't know. And the other thing too is that I think because I made all this money and I'm done at 40 or 38 or 36. You think about this. It took you your whole life to make that much money. Within like a 10-year, 15-year period,
you can run through it.
You can run through it, especially if there's no income coming in. Now, I don't know what it is that with everyone that's established, but whatever businesses you have, those businesses will start to take a hit if you are not constantly pushing and promoting what you're doing. Right now, you have a platform to do it because of the UFC, because your star power. But within 2 years, that will start to fade away. Those people that you are doing business with, those people that you are close with, they were either helping to push your product. That will not be as prevalent in this situation. So within 5 years, 6 years, it's going to be all on you. You're going to have to make these decisions on how do you continue to bring in revenue that supports what you spend. Because right now, the amount of money you say you made 8 million, 12 million, 18 million, 20 million, your mortgage on your place, that's a recurring cost of, let's just say that mortgage is about $5,500 or $6,800 or $7,500, somewhere in there. That's $8,000 a month that's gone, that you were okay with spending because you knew I got another fight coming up. I'm going to make another million. I'm going to make another 800,000, make another. It doesn't seem like a lot. But in the process of doing that, I was just at Costco. I bought just yesterday. I was there. I bought like 19 items, John. It was $400. That money doesn't go as far as it used to.
Oh my God, no.
And so I want everyone, I care about these fighters. I want them to understand that it's so hard to try to keep up after you're done. And the things that you invest in, they still cost them money. Even if your place is making money, there's things that still cost money. And you've got to have that money and liquid in the bank to be able to keep paying for those things. And that's the hard part. So anyways, I want to wish them all nothing but the best. I know I'm part of that settlement as well. I don't know to what extent. I don't know. I know I've only got 4 or 5 fights under their banner, I think, during that time frame. I don't know what that equates to. It could be like 50,000. It could be 20,000. I don't even know. I don't know what it reads also. They got rid of the Johnson portion of it. So now it's all Kung Lee, the Kung Lee portion of that. Mm-hmm. I know the lawyers probably get somewhere around a third of it. And then after that, they'll split up the rest. I'm not sure if they included the fighters from the UK, from other countries, because class action lawsuits are normally just North America. And so I'm sure it includes Canadians, I believe, and includes Mexicans and Hispanics and Mexicans and Americans. I'm not sure if it extends all the way down to Brazil. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm not sure. And so I don't know the rest of the details on it, but we're going to find out more as this thing gets closer. We do know that it's coming up on the 10-year period, right?
It is.
In a class action lawsuit, you need to get it settled within a 10-year period, I believe.
Or they're going to restart things.
Yeah, and
all those depositions, everything has to be redone.
Yep.
Oof, trouble.
And if they decide to go to trial, there's a good chance they could lose. There's a good chance they could win. It really is a flip of a coin in terms of that. So who knows? But anyways, I want to wish all those fighters nothing but the best. And whatever happens. But I hope you guys are all okay. And I want to thank you guys for the years of watching you guys fight, man. I love watching you guys fight. I know you're paying the consequences for it now, but we knew. You know, we didn't know it'd be like this, but we knew. So, but I wish you all nothing but the best.
Let's get through these last couple of super chats.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Alejandro, thoughts on judges having to have a post-fight press conference to explain themselves? Go.
I don't think that they should have to explain themselves. When they have to start explaining themselves, they start changing the way that they judge and they ref fights. I don't need that. I need them to do the best job they can. Now I'm not opposed to them filling like I'm not opposed to them going out and being like, hey, this is why. If they want to justify on their own, go right ahead and justify on their own. I wish that some judges would say, yeah, I went back and rewatched it, made a mistake. But when you do that, now that opens the floodgates for the next time something happens, and then everyone they never forget. Like once you open up that door of weakness, they fucking try to crucify you every single time. So I think it's best that they stay silent, to be honest.
It's been talked about so much. I've always said that I think it's important that there's transparency. And one of the things that I hate is when an athletic commission will sit there and say, we don't want you to say anything. It doesn't help. And it's always good if you have people that are smart in judging and are smart in the way that they can actually converse with the press and give out, well, this is what I was seeing. And again, Josh, I think you're one of my greatest examples as far as, you used to talk about judging and stuff. And I said, hey, sit in that seat right next to him and tell me what you see. And you said, God damn, man, I'll tell you what, it's different, and it's totally different when you're the one that is responsible for that card and your name is going on it and that score means something. I know you get all these things and you get commentators saying things and you get, the fans saying things. All the judges don't even give a shit. All I can tell you people is, trust me, they give a shit. They care more than you could possibly think. I can show you my phone right now and the text from judges saying, hey, would you do me a favor and watch this round again? Watch this round again. Watch this round again. And tell me what you think, because they want to know, what did I miss if I missed something? What is it? And it's a very difficult job. And there's times, Josh, you and I talk all the time about, that was a close fight and it's going to go one way or the other. And people are like, 50% of them want, the fighter in the red corner, 50% want the fighter in the blue. So the 50% that go with the fighter that lost, they got screwed. Mm-hmm. No, you didn't. It was a close fight. And the judges have to go one way or the other.
Yeah.
And there's things that happen, as far as what they see and everything. It's not what people think. What I say is I would love to have commissions at least bring out one of the judges so they could talk about, because the judges do talk after the fight. Trust me, they get together right away and say, look at this. What about this round? What about this round? And they talk about why they went a certain way. And so bring out one of the judges, bring out a referee that had a fight that was, people want to know, why did you stand them up in this situation? And let them talk 5 minutes. I always say it's a good thing. And it puts pressure on the official. Yeah, it does. But you know what? You should be able to handle that pressure.
Yeah, but John, last weekend's pay-per-view would have had fucking 5 different refs out there trying to explain their position on this shit. No, I'm good, man. I'd rather just not hear him talk and just, hey, try to fix it for next time. You meet with
Okay.
Andy Foster, you meet with the commissioner, you understand, like, you have a job to do. You don't need to answer the fans. Fans will fucking read the YouTube comment section, man. It's
But
toxic.
too many times,
It's
too many
toxic.
times. I'm going to be honest, too many times, and I love all the guys that, are the commentary teams for the UFC. Too many times those guys put out information that's wrong. And they taint exactly what, the fans think about a fight, and the judges are right. And because of what they've said in the fight, everyone says they're wrong.
Next one, Dave.
Yep. Mr. 509, could Josh beat MMA Guru in a boxing match?
Bro, I'd slap the fucking taste out that dude's mouth. That shit would be hilarious. That little fat ass couldn't get up out of his chair to come this way. I'd slap the shit out of him. One-handed and all. Glove, no glove. I don't care.
Damn. Now you're going one-handed.
I'd give him the Diddy treatment.
Man, what is wrong with you?
Tell that boy, come here, son. Get out of here.
I'm going with the Guru.
Shut your hole. The Guru of Diddy. That's what he is. All right, what else you got? What else you
Guru
got?
of Diddy baby oil, baby.
Yeah. We got one more, and then we'll call this thing.
Okay.
Willie Freeze super chats. Thanks for the pod, guys. Lost 85 pounds by walking, listening to you guys.
Right on. Congratulations.
That's
the
awesome.
goal. The goal is to drop another 120. What's the best martial art for self-defense?
Oh, jiu-jitsu. Bro, if you're that big and you get someone down, they ain't getting up. So you just got to work. I would say work on your wrestling, a little bit of wrestling and jiu-jitsu, man. So you can hold them down, control them, give them the bigness. Now, like, you'll enjoy it. You'll learn how to use your weight. And man, I hope you do lose a lot more. I hope you do. But I think the skill along the way will definitely make a big difference.
Look, what Josh said is the best martial art for you to learn is mixed martial arts. That's why it's the sport that it is. You need to be able to do it all. You need to be able to fight on the ground. You need to be able to fight on your feet. So there's a reason why MMA is the greatest sport out there. It's because you got to combine all those things to be the best. Learn mixed martial arts.
John, one time, him and I were inside the cage, and one time he just tripped and fell on top of me, and I wasn't able to get away. And that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Is that what it was?
That's exactly what I'm talking
about.
He just, like, the mat wasn't fully locked down yet on the sides, and there was a little ripple in it, and he tripped, and I tried to catch him, and he just fell on top. And I mean, look, if you lost 85 pounds, I'm so happy for you, man, and I'm glad we were part of that experience in terms of we were able to get you through that.
That's dedication, man.
I appreciate that, man. And we're going to keep pushing out more content for you guys. So hopefully you continue to keep walking every morning and getting your grind on. So I appreciate that. And I hope you do end up getting your goal. But I look at it as wrestling and jiu-jitsu, especially if you got some size to you like Big John does, and you can just fall on someone or take them down and smash them, squash them dead like he did to me.
World champion. Crushed.
Yeah, I was removed from the sport for years already.
Sport. So was I.
Yeah. Just falling on me. Hey, man. But Willie Freeze, man. I'm so happy for you, brother. Okay. Yeah. Congratulations. Keep working. Keep grinding. It's not over. Okay. We still got work to do. We got work to do over here. You got work to do over there. We'll keep doing the shows. You keep grinding.
Hard work pays off, baby.
That's right. Koscheck said that today.
Yeah, he did.
There you go. Dave, you got anything else? And that's it?
That's going to wrap there.
All right, guys. I want to wrap by saying this. Go to BetUS, join over there. YouTube 150 is the promo code. Use our promo code, and guess what? They'll give you $150, 150% bonus on your first deposit, and your next two deposit, they give you 125% bonus at BetUS. Use YouTube 150 as your promo code from us right here at the Weighing In Podcast. Also, Element, my man, Alejandro is going to be picking up his Element. So make sure you guys check this out. Use our link in the descriptions, man. They will send you some extra product with every purchase you make with our link down below. And lastly, not least, man, is we are continuing our partnership with OnlyFans. I want to thank you guys so much for supporting us over there. We will do a live over there as well. So you guys have more one-on-one with us, some content. I want to thank you guys for always supporting us. WeighingInMerch.com. Pick up some of our apparel. And before we go, John, let me see that shirt, buddy.
Dude, take a look at this shirt real quick.
Take a look.
This is beautiful. MMA champions. And it is the Century Barrel Sauna, man.
Nice.
Awesome piece of equipment. the thing everyone's talking about, the health benefits of being in a sauna and what it will do for you. The barrel sauna from Century. That's what you're looking for.
And the last but not least, man, come at me, bro. I wrestled in high school.
I got a shirt for you. I gotta bring it. I opened up a box in one of my contacts and it had a bunch of shirts for my thing, and it's a shirt for you. I gotta get it to you.
All right, one of these days. When
Boys,
you finally...
medium.
Calm down. You shut your mouth.
You talk about you couldn't get away from an old fat man. Come on, man.
All right, guys, we will see you. See you later. Get out of here.
For everyone out there, thank you for tuning in, man. Be kind to someone. Do something good. We will see you.